If your baby is waking every 1 to 2 hours all night long, chances are you've asked yourself, what am I doing wrong? And if you went on the internet, the answer was you are doing something wrong, you have bad habits or some other BS. Well, today we're going to talk about the fact that it could be just normal baby sleep behavior, or it could be a sign that something else is going on for your baby, such as discomfort. In this video, we'll go over what's normal, what might not be normal, and how to tell the difference. Hi, I'm Valerie. I'm a therapist specialized in birth to six mental health. That's their social, emotional behavior and well-being, as well as sleep. I've helped over 1,000 families get sleep without resorting to traditional behavioral sleep training methods. So if that's your thing, keep watching. The good news is that wakes every 1 to 2 hours all night long do not automatically mean that something's wrong or you have a sleep problem. These wakes also do not automatically mean you have bad habits, didn't teach your baby to self-soothe, or are somehow causing them to have this wake pattern. So when is waking up every 1 to 2 hours all night long actually normal? The question is, and what most people overlook, is that babies transition through sleep cycles and they transition through them more frequently than an adult. So an adult sleep cycle is about 90 minutes, whereas a baby's, depending on their stage of development, can be as short as 20 to 30 minutes or about 45 minutes or an hour and so on, depending on where they are in development. When they're in between sleep cycles and they're transitioning from one to the next, they can be noisy sleepers. They can make sounds, they can grunt, they can even move their body and do things that make it look like they're awake when they're actually asleep or maybe even transitioning cycles. If you're sleeping close to your baby, you would be more aware of their sounds and movements. So you might be thinking that they're waking up when they aren't waking up. That's completely normal. The other one is during the 4-month sleep regression, babies are notorious for waking up frequently to catch up on feeds during the night because they're too distracted during the day. Those two can be normal, and usually the first one is not actually waking up. The second one has to do with daytime feeding, not necessarily with sleep. Whereas if your baby is waking up every 1 to 2 hours all night long and they're actually waking up and needing your help to return to sleep, there might be something deeper going on, like discomfort. So guess what? If your baby has slept longer than 90 minutes on their own, they are linking sleep cycles. Okay, so the whole concept that they can't link sleep cycles if they're not sleeping for multiple hours in a row is not based on sleep science or sleep development or biology. But if you do think your baby is actually fully waking up this frequently, it can be a sign of discomfort, and that's the first thing that I would rule out. Discomfort can be inside the body or outside the body. I go into much more detail about this inside my sleep roadmap, which helps you step by step identify what is going on by first optimizing the different areas of your baby's life that are impacting sleep and identifying the root cause for your individual baby. What the root cause is for you might be different than somebody else. So it's important to get personalized advice. Telling you that your baby just needs to learn to self-soothe in order to extend those sleep stretches is underserving you. Babies crying and waking up are a reflection of their internal world. Their sleep patterns overnight are a reflection of what is going on for them. It could be related to development, it could be related to a need, but it's not related to a bad habit or not learning to self-soothe. You might have watched my other videos and know that self-soothing is not actually a thing for babies. If you're curious to learn more, I'll link that video in the caption. So the frequent wakes can be just a part of development. They can be a reflection of feeding needs. They can be a reflection of discomfort. They can be a reflection of just normal infant sleep. How do you tell the difference? You have one way is to get to know your baby and also to give yourself space in the middle of the night. If you're not sure what they need, if you're not sure because maybe they fed an hour ago or it's not clear to you what they need, give yourself space to figure out what they need instead of rushing to get them back to sleep. Sometimes we are very quick at getting them back to sleep because of fear that they will wake up and become more alert and then it will take a longer time to get them back to sleep, or maybe that they will wake up somebody else who is around in the room. But those are both us acting out of fear rather than out of curiosity or out of an understanding of what's going on for our baby. So a key factor in helping our baby sleep is actually getting to know them and understanding what is normal for them and what is not normal for them. I go into more detail in my resources that I will link in the caption. So how to tell the difference between a phase and an actual sleep problem. So let's say you've taken some time and reflected and you decided, yes, my baby is actually waking up, or I'm not sure if my baby is actually waking up every 1 to 2 hours. What can you do in terms of telling whether it's a phase or whether it's an actual problem? You have to consider the timing. So, are they in the middle of a developmental phase that would cause them to temporarily wake up more? This can happen commonly around the sleep progressions, such as the 4 month sleep progression, the 8 to 10 month sleep progression, and other developmental leaps. I do break it down in my free normal baby sleep guide. So if you're curious, make sure to grab that as well. A true sleep problem is when your baby is actually waking up more than is developmentally normal for that age and that stage. Or if you have a feeling that they're bothered by something or being woken up by something, but you're not sure what. If you have intuition that their sleep is not normal, but it's really important to first learn what is normal so that you can understand what may not be normal. So I have a free guide for you. It's linked in the caption to make sure that you have a good baseline of realistic expectations based on biologically normal infant sleep. Another sign that you have an actual sleep problem is if you are finding sleep confusing or stressful, or if you are doing things to help your baby sleep that are actually causing you dread or resentment or frustration. When we are wanting to navigate our baby's sleep without behavioral approaches like sleep training or leaving them to cry or doing other things that are out of alignment with our own parenting values, it's really important that we're not making decisions out of desperation or resentment or anger. So this all starts with understanding and realizing most often that you're doing better than you think when you learn what's normal and set realistic expectations. Make sure to get the free guide. That's the best place to start. Parents describe it as a breath of fresh air compared to everything else that's out there. It breaks down when there are developmental leaps and when there are growth spurts and when your baby is waking up more just because of development. Before you try random solutions, the most important first step is to learn what is normal. Normal nocturnal behavior, so things babies do in their sleep that don't actually mean that they're awake. Normal phases for increased wakes. In terms of phases for increased wakes, progressions or leaps or growth spurts, they should not result in ongoing frequent wakes. So even if it's a regression, for example, the 4 month sleep regression, it should not be weeks and weeks of every single night waking up every hour to all night long. When it's related to just development or phase, it only lasts a few nights. It's not something ongoing. So another sign that maybe something else is going on is if it's going on for a long time, a week or more, that could be a reason to rule out any other reasons for waking, like discomfort. I go into much more detail in my sleep roadmap. So if this is interesting to you, make sure to check out the caption for all the resources that I shared. Does your baby wake up every 1 to 2 hours all night long? Tell me in the comments. Tell me how old are they? What's going on for you? Have they woken up like that before but then started sleeping better? Share with others so we know what to expect. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you next time.